All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us on Thursday night, 7:30. And this is an exciting time. We're gonna release, well, usually it's always an exciting time, the same time every single year because we're releasing our new school year program. And so this is the agenda. And I think some of the parents might be new to us. So we'll spend a couple minutes, talk about us, QD Learning as a whole, what type of program we offer, and what are some of the mission, vision, that type of context, right? Give you that background. And once we finish that, we'll give some new updates. What are something new? And but we'll give you, for new parents, we'll give you some context as well. What's being changed and what are the things that you should be knowing, right? And then, but afterwards we'll be splitting. We have the communication program. There's some updates. Coach Asha will be leading that. Then I will be talking about the exciting business program updates and what are new and what's being changed. Then afterwards, I'll give some enrollment information to get you started. Everything has been published yesterday, so it should be all ready to go. If you want to start signing up program, you can do that today. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna give some quick background. First, myself, I'm sorry. No, this is the only slide will talk about me. The rest of them is really talking about the program. But this is more for new parents and also the parents have been with us for a while because we had some changes this year essentially. But I'm gonna just reset and tell you who I am. My name is Wei Wang. I go by Wei, and students call me Mr. Wei. So I have been doing a bunch of things, lots of background, but for the most part, I have a computer science background. I have done 14, 15 years high-tech consulting, being a solution architect for a consulting company, essentially, for cloud computing. That was my first career. Then I move on. I started my own company in mobile game. Very few parents or students actually know that. That was one of the venture I started. But I did it for 2 years and I said, you know what? That's really against my personal value. I don't want to get kids addicted. And so I moved to the bright side is really to figure out my next passion. My wife is an educator. I said, I love working with kids. I really need to continue working with them on day-to-day basis. So about 10 years ago, I started QD Learning. And today we are still evolving, right? Still evolving. I have a couple other roles, and which I think really combining everything. That's why we have the new vision and mission, which you will see next page. So I'm also an Air Force officer. I'm currently still active in the sense of I work for a reserve unit at March Air Reserve Base. I'm a healthcare administrator and 452nd ASTS. That's my squadron. And also I also teach at Chaffey College, computer science. And so I have the tech background, I have business plus the medical. So those are my kind of a sweet spot in terms of my own experience. I do like to coach students in those areas as well. And hence we this is our updated vision and mission is I really want to inspire the next generation along with our coaching team, right? And this is a job, can be done by a small group. We are building a community. We want to develop the next generation of leaders, have multidisciplinary kind of expertise, right? So what we do, our home base is 3 areas: communication, business, and late on computing. Computing is on our roadmap, and hopefully we will start releasing in the next school year, 2025, and fingers crossed. So those are our vision and mission, is really to help students develop those skill set, and because they're all universally useful, right? Regardless of which career or which major you will be pursuing later on. And a fun fact, right? Communication, speech and debate. I know I'm not a coach myself. I actually competed in speech competition before, and it's in the Toastmaster world, and I won a couple awards at the regional level as well. That was my connection with communication. Then business, obviously, I'm passionate. I've been teaching the Young Investor program. Even this week, I'm running a camp with my students. That's one of my passions as well. Computing, like I said, I have 14 years in background and also teaching at Chaffey College. That's why those are maybe the why behind the QD learning for some of you. All right, let me dive into the communication. What does that entail? So we have programs from really first grade all the way to high schoolers. The entry level for novice, we have the Little Orator Essentials. Then we also have the Art of Public Speaking for grade 4 and above. Those are the entry point. We offer that pretty much every semester and in the summer. So you can really pick the entry point and start the training. After that, we have the competitive training tracks. And we have for Little Orator, we have the Limited Prep debate. Coach Asha will talk more about that. We have finished launching the program, and then we're going to be completing the program by launching LO debate. She will talk about that a little bit more. For grade 4s and above, we have the Limited Prep and debate. And those are, for those of you who are new, maybe the terminology not as familiar. The way you look at interp, it's just a sort of like acting events, right? Then limited prep is speaking off the cuff. We have multiple events students can try. I'll say it's super useful in real world. Essentially, even interview and all you answer being cold called in a classroom setting, and you need those skill sets. Then debate, obviously, practice a ton of skills, critical thinking skills, research, all super useful skill set being trained in those different tracks. Then from grade 6, we're adding the platform. Platform is, I would say, it might provide the best return on investment. The reason I say that is platform is a lot of persuasiveness will be trained. A lot of informative speech is part of the platform speech. And if you think about in practical sense, right, at the workplace, what type of speech you need to do. Most of them are informative and persuasive speeches. So that's where you can get the training from the platform speech training. Okay, so that's the competitive training layer, essentially to give you the knowledge base, and then you can hone in on maybe one or two. I would say as you move along, especially at the high school level, you probably should just focus on maybe one or two at max. At the middle school layer or elementary, you should really explore, and see which one fits you better. Then afterwards, we have the competitive team. And speech and debate, I know I have been saying that quite a bit. It's really like a competitive sport, right? You have the skill set. Once you have the skill set, it's just the beginning. Then you really need to hone in your skills by competing, by joining the tournament. So that's where our varsity team is coming in. We have announced the varsity team details in the past couple of weeks. Last night we did the middle school. So we have all the recording. If you're interested joining the competitive team, and let us know. We have all the information. Then to make it close the loop, is we have the leadership team, because you don't just do speech and debate to gain that skill set. You want to apply that skill set in different setting, in different project or hands-on opportunities, right? So the leadership team is really the opportunity for you to do so. is we put you into the judging scenario. You need to judge, being a judge on the speech and debate tournament, and you need to run a speech and debate tournament, and you need to do additional passion project that you can give back to the community. This is really a way to close the full learning cycle, see the purpose, right? Why you're learning those communication skills. So for business, I would spend more time on a way to set the context. We will be launching entrepreneur and also investor competitive team. So this is super, super exciting. We tested out the young entrepreneur in the spring. Then for young investor, I've been running this in my gateway program for a long time. And but early on, I merged my two business. One is QD Learning, the other is a Gateway Academy, which focus on college planning and plus the business programs. So now we are one family. All right, keep going. Then the college program is I do college planning and college application for high schoolers. And for the most part, I provide a comprehensive meaning I cover essentially I coach everything, right? Everything that the high schoolers needs, regardless if it's academic. I do academic coaching. I'm certified in anti-boring study approach. It's really a way to coach students how to study more effectively and even just do time management training and help them to use the time efficiently. And also give them strategies on how to prepare tests. And many students, those are the things that are not being taught at school, to be honest, right? But someone are really good, self-disciplined, self-motivated, they already know, or they can pick up a lot of strategy from peers, but a lot of students do need that type of coaching. And also do extracurricular and also college, get them ready to check out college early on in their high school career and to be ready for really junior year, senior year, and take leadership positions, and it's really comprehensive. But I do from time to time offer a college tour at different time. And last time we did a UCLA tour probably in the fall. Last year we did USC. We'll figure out where I can take the students in the fall. If you're interested, join our newsletter. We'll push out that information to you all. And some of the parents may just need some general educational consulting, right? Say, hey, which high school should I go to, right? Should I go to private or public high school? Those are the things I'm willing to. I have a lot of experience helping parents as well. So feel free to schedule some consulting one-on-one. It's just an hourly type of engagement. I'm going to pass that to Coach Asha to talk about the program updates.
Thank you. Yes. So we're going to go ahead and start off with talking about one of our updates. So as you may have seen, if you've already taken a look at our catalog, and if you haven't, I highly encourage you to go ahead and take a look. We have some exciting changes. One of the changes is we are mapping out our catalogs to help you to plan for the year. Not only to plan for the year, but we are now offering program tracks that you can lock in for the year. So know what classes do we take in the fall and then what do we take in the spring. It will all be all encompassing. So again, those are two separate things. One is our catalog where you can see the planned courses. And then two is if you want to lock in for the year, we are offering 4 different tracks that offer year-long programs. So one of our year-long program track offerings is Little Orders. So this is for kiddos 1st through 3rd grade. We're offering the Little Orders Essentials A and B. So you can just go ahead and sign up for it on the registration website, which we'll talk about later tonight, and sign up for it and you're done, one and done. You don't have to stress about figuring out what the schedule will be. It's already linked and ready to go. We are also offering limited preparation speech as a year-long series. The event and topics do rotate in the fall and the spring, but the program is sequential. So you take fall and you roll over into spring, and that's all ready to go. We are also offering debate. Now, many of you may already know that debate is one of the most, I think, workload heavy courses. It's not something you take once and you've mastered. It's definitely a process. So we are being mindful of that. We are offering a 1-year course in debate. This will help our competitive students really prepare for competitive competition, as well as those who are considering going on to high school. This will really give you a great foothold for high school debate. And then finally, our competitive training lab. This is for all of our competitive students returning and new. So just to kind of clarify the competitive training lab, this is for students who have completed a competitive track course and want to continue working on that event and taking it to competition. So in the competitive training lab, you are specifically working on an event you've already learned and working to improve it and to polish it for competition. And since the competition season is not just one semester, it is a whole season, which goes from about August till June. This is really great opportunity for students who are very serious or want to become more serious about their competition to lock in for the year. So you'll have plenty of time to work on and improve your events. So again, very exciting. These are the 4 offerings we're starting out with, year-long programs. So if you're looking to lock in for the year, this is the place to start. Again, you can find it on our website.
I do see, if I may offer a couple comments, I do see a lot of benefits for doing that. As a parent myself, right? I think I do see sometimes you will be asking, okay, my kid has done the training, for example, limited prep in the fall, then you have to make a decision for the spring, like, okay, what we will be pushing recommendations for you, but at the same time, you actually have to burn some energy to make a decision for the spring, right? We all know for communication, the speech and debate, it is a long-term investment. And also it's just by doing one semester, it's not going to be enough. So if you can lock in, that will, one is make the scheduling a lot easier, and also the students, the kids will be a little bit more dedicated on just going for the mastery for one track in some way, right? For one event. And lastly, is icing on the cake is we'll give additional discount if you commit the year long.
So moving on, one of the other program updates we have is our Little Orders competitive track. If you are new to QD, we have our Little Orders program is for, again, 1st through 3rd grade students. And previously, we would have more of a training. It was a training program. Now we are offering a competitive track for those students as well. So you still will start out with what's considered Little Orders Essentials, A and B, and that is a baseline course for students to improve their confidence, critical thinking, research, speaking skills. So that's a skills-based course. And then the competitive tracks focus on actual competition events. So we actually see that there is elementary tournaments. Usually you can start around second, sometimes some tournaments actually start as young as 1st grade. Some it's 3rd grade, but this is to prepare students to go ahead and start competing earlier. Before we had to wait till they got till like 3rd or 4th grade, but with the advancement and offerings in tournaments for younger years, we are keeping up with that, and we are offering our competitive track for the little guys as well. So we already offer Little Orders limited prep. So this again teaches students the basics of limited preparation speeches and speaking and being able to get up and give a speech without very much. The Little Orders limited prep focuses on impromptu speaking, which is, again, they get up and have to give a speech with a limited amount of preparation. We also already offered Little Orders Interp. Again, this is encompassing a lot of our interpretation acting events. So our new one we are proud to release is our Little Orders Debate. So Little Orders Debate is launching this fall, and that will be available for students who are interested in argumentation, critical thinking, and a little bit of quick thinking on your feet speaking style. So we are very excited to offer that. I want to talk about this from a little bit of my background with speech and debate. And one of the things, both having taken speech and debate from a very young age, because I was the shy kid, I was very introverted. as well as teaching it. And I can say that the younger you start to build good habits, the younger you start to learn that competition isn't scarier, the easier it is. Not only that, but we've actually tracked the success rates, and the students who start younger, who start sooner, actually have higher success rates, which makes sense because there's a drop off period. So the later you start doing speech and debate, it's a little bit more of a curve, right? So when they start young, they build these good habits, they learn how to speak confidently, and they learn that competition isn't something to be feared, but something to be embraced, and they learn how to do it well. And like I said, I can tell you across the board, some of our students who started out with us, some of which may be in this room right now, those are the students who even now are now onto our varsity team, and they are taking home awards, and they are just showing what it means to be a great communicator and building the foundation to be a global citizen. So I cannot say enough that this is a really great way to launch your student into success. And we're very excited to start with Little Orders Debate. If you're not familiar with debate, argumentation skills are very, very desirable skill set to have in terms of, think of anyone from politicians, lawyers, even just being able to interview or prep for college, so and beyond. So very excited to launch this fall. On to our competitive track. So our competitive track, we are really going to be talking about some of the updates and expectations coming for this fall. So one thing that you will note, I've heard parents ask, I know my student is taking limited prep, but I don't know what that means. What event are they taking? So first and foremost, our competitive track classes are geared toward teaching students to go to competition, to prepare them for competition so they can be successful at competition. Half of that battle is for parents to know what your students are working on. So one of the things you'll now see in the catalog, as well as I'm showcasing here, is that all of our classes are single subject. The subjects do rotate for fall and spring, but hopefully when you go to the catalog, you will now see these descriptions, as well as be able to understand that your student is only working on one event at a time. So there's no confusion when you're going to do things like signing up for tournaments. So for example, for the fall, our limited prep class is focusing on SPAR. SPAR is a entry-level debate style. It is a limited prep debate style. So all limited prep classes will be focusing on SPAR. Interpretation, our interpretation classes, if it is in person, they will be focusing on storytelling in the fall. If it is online, it will be focusing on declamation. Platform classes. In the fall, all the students will be working on persuasive speaking. So again, if you are interested in what they're going to be working on, they will be working on persuasive speaking. If your student has learned and or taking this, never fear. Again, the competitive track is focused on mastery and it is focused on preparation. So every season, students have to do a new topic, a new event. So even if your student has taken this before, trust me, they can still learn, they can still grow. They will still be working on creating, whether if they're doing platform, for example, they will be creating a persuasive speech, and our classes are geared for all levels. So whether you're a beginner to competitive track or you are a returner to competitive track, we will be preparing you for competition. Debate, the two topics that we will be working on in those classes is either going to be public forum or congressional debate. So public forum or congressional debate. Now for spring, as I said, the topic switches. So for limited prep, in the spring, we focus on impromptu. For interpretation in the spring, we focus on HI or DI for in-person. So HI is humorous interpretation, and DI stands for dramatic interpretation. For the online course, they focus on prose. For platform, they will be focusing on informative speaking. For debate, again, they will be continuation. So in debate, they will continue to work on public forum or continue to work on congressional debate. Again, I just want to reiterate, the reason why we did this is to focus on two primary issues: making sure that students are able to really gain a better mastery, and two, to create better preparation for competition. So this is our competitive track. We want the students to be successful. So we are now focusing on single subjects in all courses, whether they are elementary or middle school or high school. I wanted to show you a example of our website. So again, if you go to our website and you go to an event, it will also say again, so just in case you forgot, just in case you don't have it in front of you, it will say on the website as well what event they will be focusing on. For example, for this interpretation speech online, they are focusing on declamation. We are also working to update the descriptors, so they will also show. So again, when you go to register, it will say what event that they will be focusing on. Continuing on this trend, we want to discuss very briefly with all of our families, parents, tournaments, some tournament details. So this spring, we had the honor of launching a pilot program to bring tournaments to the students in the competitive tracks. So often parents say, my students are so busy. They have so many different extracurriculars and activities. They do not have time to do tournaments on the weekends. So one of the things we did was we brought the tournaments to the students. So in all competitive tracks, I want to make sure all parents know this, all competitive track classes, with the exception of limited prep, spar, and impromptu, will have 1 to 2 asynchronous tournaments built into the classes. These, to clarify what an asynchronous tournament is for new parents, these are pre-recorded video tournaments. These videos will be taken in class and submitted for judging. So your students just show up to classes normally. These are built into the curriculum, built into the practice, and your students will have the opportunity to participate in a tournament. I just wanted to give all parents a heads up so that when we tell you your student won a medal or trophy, you'll know why, and so that you can get excited in helping to prepare them for these tournaments. All coaches will be announcing these before they come up. We will send out announcements, but we wanted to just let all parents know we are bringing the tournaments to you. So there's no longer any issues of students being able to participate in tournaments and hone their skills. We are making our tournament calendars and registration are now digital and online. So you will now be able to find any open tournaments, any upcoming tournaments on our website, as well as we will have physical calendars available at QD. So I know sometimes parents say, I don't know what tournaments are coming up. I don't know what tournaments are available. You will now have the ability to find the tournaments online, as well as we will have calendars available at QD. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the tournament link looks like. So when you go to our website and go under tournaments, you will see the open tournaments. Now, this is just an example of the old schedule. We're updating it, but you'll be able to go through and see what tournaments are coming up and what is available. So not only that, as Wei is demonstrating, you can filter for everything from the level, because not every tournament is available to every student. So let me just quickly discuss the levels, because that's something that's really important to understand. We base the levels, there's 2 distinctions. The grade, so always make sure if it says 3rd through 12th or if it's a 1st through 3rd grade tournament. And then by skill. So if your student is brand new, has never done any tournaments, or has done only 1 or 2 tournaments, they will be considered novice. You want to look for green highlighted tournaments. They are novice, they are beginners. If your student has been with us for a semester or 2, or has competed for a semester, they are most likely categorized as intermediate, and their color will be, you can go and show that, yellow. So you will look for tournaments that are identified as yellow. So yellow, and make sure to check the grade. These tournaments are only available to students who have been with us for at least 2 semesters or have competed for a semester. So if you're looking for tournaments to enroll your student, look for yellow. And finally, our highest level will be red. And these tournaments are generally open to our varsity team primarily. However, if you are a student who has competed with us for multiple years, you can be considered for these tournaments. So if you competed for a year or longer, you will look for tournaments that are red and then look for the grade. So all parents, you now have a centralized area. You can see what tournaments are coming up, see what tournaments are available. And when you click on them, you can find the events. And then if you could scroll down a little bit, Way. So we don't have anything coming up just yet, but not only can you see the tournament calendar, but you will be able to see the tournament registration. So if there is a tournament coming up and the registration is open, here, I know there's nothing showing right now, but this is where you can also go to register. So not only can you see the tournaments that are coming up, but you can now register online when a tournament is coming up. So definitely something to put on your bookmarks on your computer. So please definitely bookmark our QD Learning Speech and Debate tournament page, or please request, if you'd like a paper version, please request the paper tournament version at QD. We don't have the next season's ones just yet, but in the fall, we should have the new one coming up. So please check with your coach, student's coach, check the Google Classroom, check the announcements for updates on upcoming tournaments. We really want to see our competitive track students go to more tournaments. Yes? We are bringing tournaments to you, but we would like to see you go to more tournaments with us as a team. Very excited about that. And if anyone has any questions about tournaments at the end of this session, I am more than happy to answer any questions. I just want to say before we switch gears that there is a tournament for every student. So if you're a parent who's in the past who's thought, I'm too busy, my students are too busy, there are now so many different tournament opportunities. We have in-person tournaments if you prefer in-person, where we go as a team. We also have online tournaments, and the online tournaments can be as simple as a half day, like 3-hour commitment. We offer asynchronous, which is the recorded tournaments where they record their video. We offer tournaments that are sometimes spread out over the week. There is a tournament for every student. So if you ever were like, oh, we can't do this because my student is too busy, please talk to me as a program director, or talk to Wei, or talk to our admin, or talk to Terry, and we can find a tournament for you and help you to navigate that. Hopefully
Yeah,
that.
let me just add a couple comments on the asynchronous. For those new parents, and you might not be thinking about tournament just yet, right? But guess what? After one semester, and that will be the question you'll be asking your kid, right? And then the way we observe, just not only anecdotally and also based on our stats, the internal tracking, we actually have a database on in terms of the tournament participation on the student, right? The more you join the tournament, it's again back to my sports analogy, the better or the longer the students will be involved or will be contributing to kind of dedicating to this activity, right? And it's just a healthy cycle to do that. But back to the asynchronous tournament, the way I see it, again, as a parent, not only it saves the scheduling aspect and traditional tournament, if you look at the traditional tournament like NSDA, it's actually a multi-day. It's a multi-day event. And then other tournament, regional tournament, usually it's a full day thing, starts at 7, ends possibly as late as 9 or even 10 p.m. And the parent sometimes, I mean, unfortunately, you do have to have a judge coverage, and that means the whole family will be tied up for the whole day, essentially, unless you willing to cover the judging fee, right? Which is not cheap. But for asynchronous, you can do it pre-recorded and boom, and the judges will be judging based on just the video recording. And also, I think another benefit is for those students who are testing out, saying, I don't want to go to in person because it sounds very intimidating, right? Then you can just record it. So that's a very easy way to ease them into the competition. And there's so many options, so many asynchronous tournament available now. So really, there's no excuse not to try this out. And okay, so that's asynchronous, lots of benefits. And the other thing I want to add is on the website, we actually will be publishing the tournament results. And for those who are actually breaking and move on to the final placing, we will be posting your name over here over the season. So we'll be starting in this school year.
When you're investing in our courses, I'd like to believe that you're investing them for your students' future, for them to show improvement maybe in their speaking skills, but specifically for the competitive track. That is why they're called the competitive track, is that we are trying to give them an option, an opportunity to compete. That's something that they can do from all the way from elementary into high school and even college, actually, because it's an investment, right? You're investing in your student. This is how you get the return of investment. When your student competes, it improves their skills, right? Learning is not done in a bubble. You get better by testing yourself, challenging yourself, right? If you take music classes, usually you have music tests to move up to the next level, right? This is the same idea. When you take a competitive speech class, you go to a tournament, you get to go against other students from around the state and sometimes around the country, and you sharpen your skills. You become better. So this is how you get the return of investment, parents, is having your student compete, having them go against other students, having having them improve their skills. And at bare minimum, they'll become a better speaker. But even beyond that, again, this is where you can start to put stuff on their college app. They can start building their extracurriculars for high school. So please definitely ask us if you have any questions about competition. But that is why this program exists, is we want to help your students to become better communicators.
Can I just put a disclaimer? I'm not sure if I scared the new parents away by saying the traditional tournament it's a full day long, and they are different tournament options, right? So it's there are shorter tournament, especially for our QD internal tournament. It's only 2 rounds, so it's half day. So there are a lot of variety of different tournament. It's just the traditional longer ones are the ones I want to make sure, you won't be surprised, right? So just to condition that.
Yeah, and like I said, for new students, we do filter. So you most likely will be going to our novice tournaments, which are very friendly to new students and new parents. So if you have any questions, you can ask us. Okay, moving on to the last part for me is leadership. So we launched a leadership program here at QD because we want to help create global citizens. This is a really great pathway for students who are looking for an extracurricular, especially when it comes to, like I said, again, things like college applications and what colleges are looking for. I was just watching a video the other day, and one of the top extracurriculars that students who got into like some very top level schools is doing leadership, doing some sort of student government, doing some sort of leadership. This is our answer to that is offering our leadership program. And we've made some changes this year. So if you're new, I'm going to go through some of the changes. And if you're returning as well, you maybe also need to be updated on some of the changes. So one of the things we offer the students is the opportunity to get service hours. It's not only to complete service hours, but I forgot to put it on here. Certificate. Remind me, what is the service hour certificate?
Oh, yes. Well, they will be eligible to apply for the PVSA, which is Presidential Volunteer Service Award.
Yes. So to do that, they have to earn a certain number of service hours. So we require all of our leadership students to do a minimum of 50 service hours. But I'm very proud to say that most of our students do over that number and are able to quickly go up the ranks in terms of getting their service awards. However, built into the program is we will make sure that your student gets a minimum of 50 service hours. If they are not meeting their goals by the benchmark time points, they will have actually a counseling appointment to understand why they're not meeting their hours. But one of the requirements of our leadership program is that they do a minimum of 50 service hours. So every member takes on we can call them officer position, but it's basically a leadership role. Every person can contribute a different skill or contribute in different ways. So every one of our leadership students will take on a different role to help, again, our overarching goal, which is things like running our QD tournaments and just making the community better as a whole. Next, complete training. So we do have now a mandatory leadership training certificate course. This is twofold. So they complete the training, it will help them become better leaders, but it's also something that they can notate on their college applications. So if they're a high school student, this can be a really great way to specifically have a certification in leadership. Also, we require them to do judge training certification because one of the ways to get service hours is by judging at our tournaments or judging for tournaments. So we do require them to get certified at NSA level 1 at minimum. And this is actually really great long term because if they want to go on and become a certified judge, most tournaments require their judges to have this certification. So we are having our students complete that during the leadership program. Next is we will have passion projects that are built into the program. So all students are required to plan, assist, and launch individual and team passion projects. Finally, we want to build a community. So one of the things that we encourage our students to do is to attend leadership conference in the spring, as well as work as a team and build long-term community. One of the things we're bringing in to do that is using platforms like Slack and Google Classroom so that they can communicate and get tasks done together. So it's all about community building within our leaders circle. So that's the overall goals of our leadership program. If this is something as a parent you're interested in getting your student involved in, so the program actually is coming up. So we are going to be launching this program in August. It's a year program. So for one thing to note, it is a full year program. It goes from August through to the school year. So in the summer, students can do volunteer hours as well. We have our registration link here linked if you have any questions about that. It is overseen by our advisory board. And not on top of just, if you can see below, we have our membership fees. So for regular members, the cost is $12.50. Again, it's for the full year. But if you have students who are joining our varsity team, they get a 30% discount. And so the total will be $8.75. So this is a really great value added. And like I said, at minimum, all of the students will be doing community service hours and they can apply as an add-on for the Presidential Service Award. But as well as that, we also have a ton of community building activities that the students get to connect with each other and grow as leaders over the course of the year. It's like I said, it's just a really transformative program for students. One thing we forgot to put on here, I want to note, this is for upper level middle school through high school. If you have a student upper level middle school, they can apply for consideration, but high school, majority targeted at high school. So upper level middle school and high school. We don't quite have tracks in for lower level middle school at this time, but if they are interested, please let us know and we can take that into consideration. But either way, I hope you will sign up for our leadership program. We are looking forward to launching the new season. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to myself, Mr. Wei, or our administration, and they will give you more information.
Thank you, Coach Asha. Let me move on to talk about business. We will have two competitive teams for our business track. The first one is called a Young Entrepreneur, and it's competition focused. And for the first year, we'll be focusing on targeting Conrad Challenge. And this is a pretty well-known, it's an innovation slash business competition. The beauty of this, like I said, it's really an interdisciplinary challenge. That's why we picked this one. And they have multiple area. For example, aerospace, aviation, cyber tech and security, energy and environment, health and nutrition. So any of you who are interested in pursuing, for example, pre-med or engineering or computer science, you pretty much can find any type of problems you like to solve, and you essentially develop some business ideas and then come to pitch. And the initial round is a video pitch, and it really combines all the communication you might already learned, right, to use it here. It's a year-long program. So in the fall, essentially it's going to be hands-on. So we do a lot of mini lessons. There's no prerequisite. The reason we want to do that is this is a 0 to 1 type of program. So for the students who have been with us for a while, this is a brand new program. We want to give them the value right away in 1 year, rather than take multiple years and for you to tackle those challenges. So that's Young Entrepreneur, really focusing on you building a business, right? Then you pitch it. The second one is Young Investors. And we have been running that for a number of years, but we did do some restructuring. And I probably will be personally running this competitive team, and we will be targeting multiple competitions, but it's all in the realm of investment, picking business, doing analysis, and also learning how to build a portfolio. And competition like stock market game, that's a solo competition, and that runs in each semester. So you have two opportunities within that year to see how you are ranked within our region, which is in general the state, California. And then for Ithaca College, there's a high school stock competition. That one is also building a portfolio. They give you the starting investment initial fund, and then you have to start building a portfolio. And it's all paper trading, obviously. In the end, it's the end of March. Whoever has the best, the highest balance wins the battle, right? They actually give the top 3 teams real cash. So that's really a nice touch. And in the past 2 cycles, all my team finish at the top 5%. So that's a great accomplishment. And then for the Young Investor Society, they offer multiple competition and also opportunities The biggest one is the global stop pitch that usually happens in the spring. So while you are in this team, I will be really kind of coaching you to make sure you can multitask and handling different challenges. And in the spring, you deliver this essentially this competition, the global stop pitch. Then along the way, there's some scholarship, even dollar a day challenge. I'm gonna challenge you to finish some certification exam. And in the end, if you really execute well, you might be able to get certified for this CYIA, so Certified Young Investor Analyst Certificate. Okay, so if you, for those who have take full advantage, you can build a lot of stuff that you can brag about on your resume and on your college profile. So those are the 2-year-long business programs. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask later on. In the interest of time, I'm gonna just jump in to see how to get started, right? To get started, it's I'm gonna do a quick demo afterwards as well. So really all you need to know are 2 things. One is the catalog. If you want to see the program, the dates, the schedules, you can download a copy, qdlearning.com/full catalog, and has pretty much everything. Then the actual enrollment, it's qdlearning.com/enroll, and you will see everything. We'll do a quick demo. Right now, we're running the early bird. It's going to be a month. So very, very generous timeline for you to make the commitment. And the as usual, our first day of class starts after the Labor Day. So that's going to be September 3rd. We have an enrollment window for you to, if you feel like the class is not a fit, there are a couple weeks for you to make that change. Or if you join a little bit later, we have some flexibility as well. So almost like we run as the college course over here. Then for varsity and leadership, those are a little bit, it's not directly available on the enrollment link, but it's using the same website. It's just not open to the public because those usually are the kind of internally we want to provide those opportunities. So one is qdlearning.com/varsity. The other is /leadership. The last thing I want to mention about before we wrap up is a trial class, especially for new parents, or if you're not totally sure if the class is a fit for your child or not. And we actually come up with a different way of doing trial. In the past, the trial classes would put you into an ongoing class. Usually it's best case scenario, nothing happens. Worst case scenario, it might disrupt the current class, right? So for now, what you really need to trial is with the coach, our coach, and also sort of the learning style, right? So we actually come up with, under Coach Asha's guidance, essentially, we have a different way of doing trial classes now. And sometimes when you request it, so essentially, I'm gonna click on this, I'm sorry. Just going to type qdlearning.com trial, and it's going to link you to this page. And you say, okay, I'm gonna actually try. If you're a new parent, new student, and you can just fill out the information, and you can tell us which day you like to try the class, right? And then what you're looking for. Sometimes you just say, I'm gonna start learning speech and debate, right? In that case, we will put you into the AOPS, depending on the grade, or the little orator, right? Then you can let us know your experience and other basic information. And we do charge a $25, but don't worry, if this is a good fit, it's going to be part of the tuition. It's just a way for us to kind of make sure you're serious, right? So we can set up. It's essentially a one-on-one paid class in a lot of cases, unless we have multiple students requesting at the same time, and we'll set up on demand for you for that trial class. Okay. So that is pretty much it. I want to see if anybody has any questions. For those like needs a Chinese version, I know we have Chinese parents. I will be releasing a Chinese recording. Essentially, I'll record the same information. I'll do that in the next couple of days, and we'll release that way as well. If you're not fully getting all the updates. Okay, I think we can wrap this up. You know how to find us. It's either if you're totally new, you can go to our website and our contact link is there. Yes. Go cutie honey badger, right? We didn't mention about our mascot, but it's gonna be everywhere. You will see the honey badger, right? The fearless and dedicated and with lots of grit. That's all of you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody. See you all soon.